The room is dimly lit, the flickering fluorescent bulb casting eerie shadows on the cracked walls. A broken picture frame lies shattered on the floor, its glass reflecting the remnants of a life once filled with love. Diana sits on the edge of the bed, her delicate frame hunched over as she cradles her swollen face in her hands. A fresh bruise blooms across her cheek, an ugly reminder of her husband's wrath. Her once vibrant eyes, now dulled by years of suffering, stare blankly at the floor where a few drops of blood have seeped into the worn-out carpet. In her lap, Mara, their 6-year-old daughter, clings to her mother's torn nightgown, her tiny fingers trembling. The child's wide, terrified eyes dart to the looming figure in the doorway. Mr. Mark, dressed in his work shirt with the sleeves rolled up, exhales sharply. The stench of alcohol lingers in the air as he tightens his grip on the belt in his hand. His gaze, sharp and filled with menace, sweeps over them, daring Diana to say a word. Diana swallows hard, every muscle in her body tense with fear. She has learned the rules of survival in this house. Silence is safety, resistance invites pain. But tonight, something feels different. The weight of Mara's little body against hers, the way the child shivers uncontrollably, something snaps inside her. A deep ache settles in her chest, a mix of rage, sorrow, and helplessness. Mark takes a step closer, his heavy boots thudding against the floor, the sound echoing like a death knell. "You made me do this," he growls, his voice laced with contempt. His fingers flex around the belt, the leather creaking ominously. Mara whimpers, burying her face in her mother's arms, her soft sobs muffled against Diana's trembling body. Diana closes her eyes, inhaling sharply. She has to protect Mara, no matter what it takes. The rain beats against the window in heavy, relentless drops, drowning the silence that has settled over the apartment. The single bulb flickers overhead, casting shifting shadows along the peeling walls. Diana sits stiffly on the couch, Mara curled in her lap, her tiny hands gripping her mother's dress. The girl's breathing is uneven, her face pressed into Diana's chest, as if trying to disappear. Mark stands by the table, pouring himself another drink, his movements sluggish but dangerous. The half-empty bottle clinks against the glass, the only sound in the tense room. He takes a slow sip, his sharp gaze never leaving them. His anger has simmered since earlier, but the storm inside him is never far from boiling over. He places the glass down with a deliberate thud. "You've turned her against me," he mutters, his voice thick with resentment. Diana doesn't respond. Any answer could be the wrong one. She tightens her arms around Mara, feeling the child's heartbeat racing against her own. Mark exhales sharply, then notices the cup of water on the floor. It had spilled earlier when Mara, too nervous to hold it steady, had dropped it. His jaw clenches, his fingers curling into fists. "You can't even teach her to hold a damn cup." His voice rises, his anger reigniting. He reaches for his belt, pulling it free with a harsh snap. The air in the room shifts. Mara whimpers. Diana's breath catches. In an instant, she moves, positioning herself between him and their daughter. "No." Her voice is quiet but firm. Mark stops mid-step, momentarily startled. Diana has never defied him before. A flicker of something dark crosses his expression. Disbelief, then fury. "You don't tell me no," he spits, stepping closer. But something inside Diana has already changed. The fear is still there, but beneath it something stronger is growing. She squares her shoulders, shielding Mara completely. Her fingers dig into the fabric of her dress. She will not let him hurt her child. Not tonight, not ever again. The streets of Lagos are eerily quiet at this hour, the usual chaos replaced by a thick, suffocating silence. The night air is heavy with humidity, the distant sound of a barking dog, the only sign of life. A single street lamp flickers, casting dim light over the cracked pavement. Diana clutches Mara's hand tightly, their small bag slung over her shoulder. Her heart pounds so loudly she fears Mark might hear it from inside the apartment. Every breath feels stolen, every step a risk. She glances back at the doorway, expecting to see his looming figure at any moment. Mara stumbles slightly, her tiny legs struggling to keep up, but she doesn't make a sound. She knows, even at 6 years old, that silence is their only chance. Diana steadies her, whispering, "Almost there, baby." The taxi she had called earlier appears at the end of the street, its headlights piercing through the darkness. Relief floods her chest, but she knows she is not safe yet. A loud crash echoes behind them. The apartment door swings open violently, slamming against the wall. Mark's voice slices through the night.
Diana!
Diana freezes for a split second, her body instinctively recoiling. Then her grip on Mara tightens, and she runs. Mark's footsteps thunder against the pavement as he barrels toward them, rage fueling his every move. The taxi driver, a middle-aged man with weary eyes, sees the urgency in Diana's face and flings the door open. "Get in!" Diana throws herself into the back seat, dragging Mara in beside her. The door barely shuts before Mark reaches them, his fist pounding against the window. "You think you can leave me?" he roars, his face contorted in fury. He grabs the handle, trying to wrench the door open. "Go!" Diana shouts. The driver slams on the gas, tires screech. The car jerks forward. Mark stumbles back, his furious yells fading as the taxi speeds down the street. Diana doesn't dare look back. She wraps her arms around Mara, pressing a kiss into her daughter's hair. For the first time in years, she allows herself to believe. Maybe, just maybe, they are free. The first light of dawn stretches across the sky, painting the horizon in hues of gold and soft pink. A gentle breeze rustles the leaves of the mango tree in the front yard, carrying the scent of damp earth after last night's rain. The small, modest house in Orca stands quietly, its walls worn but welcoming. Diana steps out of the taxi, her legs trembling from exhaustion. The journey has been long, both in distance and in struggle. Mara, still half asleep, rests her head against her mother's shoulder, her tiny arms wrapped around Diana's neck. The driver, sensing the depth of their story without needing to ask, gives Diana a small nod before driving away, leaving them standing in front of the wooden gate. For a moment, Diana hesitates. This was once her home, a place filled with warmth, laughter, and the comforting embrace of her mother. And yet, she left years ago, young and blinded by love, convinced that Mark was her future. Now she returns, bruised, broken, but not defeated. The door creaks open before she can knock. Her mother stands in the doorway, wrapped in a simple wrapper, her eyes widening as they take in Diana's weary face and the sleeping child in her arms. The lines on her face deepen with concern, but she says nothing. She simply steps forward, her arms opening. Diana collapses into her mother's embrace, the weight of years of suffering pouring out of her in silent sobs. The warmth, the familiar scent of home, it breaks something inside her, yet mends her at the same time. Mara stirs at the sound of her mother's quiet cries, rubbing her sleepy eyes. She looks up at the grandmother she has never met, her small voice uncertain. "Mama." A soft smile spreads across the old woman's face as she kneels down, cupping Mara's face in her hands. "Yes, my child. You are home now." Diana wipes her tears, her mother's hands still resting on her back. For the first time in years, she feels safe. She looks toward the sky, the rising sun bathing the house in light. This is not just an escape. It is a beginning,